Officials say the $100 million aircraft went missing on Sunday. It's now being described as, quote, a mishap by officials. Yesterday, parts and debris from the jet were discovered in Williamsburg County. And that's where we find ABC 15's Joel Vasquez tonight. He spoke with a resident who is living on that road who had a difficult time just even getting to his home. But first, this is the house where the pilot actually landed. This is actually near North Charleston, the area, on Sunday. Now, the pilot put the plane on autopilot before ejecting. Officials have not yet said why he ejected, describing again the incident as a mishap during routine training flight.
Now, after ejection, the plane then traveled about 60 miles before crashing in Williamsburg County. ABC News spoke with Steve Ganyard, a retired colonel in the Marine Corps, an ABC's news contributor. He says the plane continued to climb in altitude after the ejection and actually flew another 5 to 10 minutes before crashing.
So what we now know is that the airplane was on takeoff, and 1,000 feet off the departure end of the runway with the nose pointed up, the pilot ejected. With the nose pointed up, the aircraft continued to climb to some altitude we don't know, flying for 5 to 10 minutes before impacting the field. But because air traffic control has no idea, because the aircraft was stealthy and invisible, we have no idea whether the aircraft came close to other aircraft or how high it actually flew.
Now, we are also learning more about that investigation process.
Yeah, Ganyard says that when a crash like this happens, investigators begin looking into a number of things.
Military aviation has gotten exponentially safer over the years because there are actually two investigations. One is a legal investigation to see if there was legal liability. Totally separate from that is an investigation that looks to find root causes, where people essentially have immunity. They're allowed to talk to investigators. If somebody did something wrong, they're given immunity. So the investigation the military does for any mishap is actually very detailed and very good because it's trying to get at root causes.
This story has captured the attention of the entire country, really. Many residents telling us as well that they never thought their quiet community would be making national headlines.
ABC 15's Joel Vasquez has been speaking with people in the community, including one man who lives near where that fighter jet actually crashed. Joel.
Jen, Andrew, James Hicks tells me that he's actually one of the only people to live behind this blockaded area. Now, unlike yesterday when no one was allowed in or out of that area, he says today he can leave that area, but before coming back or re-entering, he has to show officials information. Now, he says if people want to come visit him, well, he has to come over here and he has to verify who they are.
When I walk out on my street, I see the two nearest blockades, and the minute I start walking down the street, a quad runner will come up with 2 security people, and they ask me to go back in my yard.
Pictures from the inside. Resident James Hicks says he's one of the only homes in the blockaded portion of Old Georgetown Road.
There's somebody across the street from me, but they got the roadblock past his driveway, but all the helicopters and everything yesterday were landing in his field.
Monday, Hicks's wife could not get to his house because she was on the outside of the perimeter. But on Tuesday, if she wanted to get through, he had to verify her identity.
They said that if I can go down there and speak to them, and it was the first sergeant that I talked to today, and he said that they would let them through.
Hicks says this is the way things could be for a little while.
I was told that this will probably go on for another couple of days.
I spoke with a couple of Williamsburg County residents who say it's weird seeing a spectacle in such a quiet area.
It seems really strange to hear about a little tiny community like ours on national news. Makes us feel a little important.
They live about 10 minutes away from the scene. Bonnie Bailey says she heard a loud boom on Sunday afternoon, which now she believes was the jet crashing.
Like, we get a lot of the fighter jets flying over our farm, right, and we hear them, and they're really, really loud. Yeah. But it was something unusual that I hadn't heard before. Yeah.
Now, multiple detours have been set up on Georgetown Road. If you're traveling north on Old Georgetown Road, take a right on Midway Road and then a left on Baptist Road and then another left on Bartels Road. If you're traveling south, go left on Bartels Road, then a right on Baptist Road and then another right on Midway Road to get back on Old Georgetown Road. Now, the Williamsburg County Sheriff's Office says that this road will be closed for an unknown amount of time. Live in Williamsburg County, Joel Vasquez, ABC 15 News.
Joel, thank you. Now, the Williamsburg County Sheriff's Office tells us their role now is to assist military police with traffic control and to no longer help in the search for the debris. You can see Marines throughout this small community of Indiantown with just a population of 1,071 residents. Some neighbors tell us they understand this is a top secret mission by the military. They say they can deal with the detours, but those who aren't familiar with the area are having a hard time.
People that's not from the area and trying to get to somewhere and don't know the actual roads, it could, put a damper in their day.
They're hoping that the barricades will soon be removed and all the roads will be reopened. It's not clear, though, how long the search mission will take, but deputies say they do expect military personnel to be in town for at least several days.
So right now, here's what we're still working to figure out. We don't know why that pilot ejected. Just that there was a malfunction, quote-unquote mishap is what we're told. We know the jet was on autopilot before the pilot ejected, but as we said, we don't know what exactly caused the plane to crash. Our team spent the day reaching out to multiple agencies, including the FAA, the NTSB, the Department of Defense, Joint Base Charleston, all declining to comment, referring us now to the U.S. Marine Corps 2nd Marine Aircraft Wing.